There are certainly some interesting heroes and some interesting combinations and synergies you can pull off inside Watcher of Realms, but I'm not entirely sure that there's one more unique or more interesting than the hero that we're going to talk about today. But before we do, let's go ahead and hear a word about a charity event that's going on currently. Now, I'm sure you guys have probably heard about this already, but as you can see, I'm wearing my Team Water sweater that was provided, and it's very hot in my room, so we're going to try and make this quick. What is Team Water? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is a social media campaign where we're partnering up with a charity called Water Aid with the goal of eventually raising $40 million to be able to provide clean water for 2 million people for 20 plus years. That's right, $1 can provide clean water for one person for an entire year, ladies and gentlemen. We may never truly know what kind of a struggle people have without access to things as simple as water, right? If you have ever had any sort of a power outage or anything like that where you've lost it for, whatever extended duration of time it might have been, that is going to be a small tip of the iceberg for what daily life would be like in areas where water is not easily accessible. So for things like washing hands, taking showers, cleaning food, any of that is extremely important in a day-to-day, in your day-to-day life, right? Enough said. This campaign is being participated in by large creators of all sizes, really, right? So it's fantastic that I got invited. We have people like Kai Cenat. Zach King is in there, dude perfect. There's so many people. We even have people like Hank Green, right? So there's a good chance that you've already seen this campaign on YouTube, especially. Now, that being said, I am going to leave a link down below if you want to get in on this initiative and donate. It's completely optional, of course. I'm not pressuring anybody. If you want to donate and help bring clean water to people in other parts of the world who may not be so lucky, definitely go ahead and make sure to follow that link. And then, of course, you can hop in my Discord and share it and talk about it as well if you'd like. But back to the video. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and hop straight into this. So, who are we talking about? Well, if you looked at the thumbnail or the title or anything like that, you'll know that we're talking about Beatrix. Now, Beatrix released in a very questionable state. She wasn't that good. So people weren't that high on her. If you looked at these reviews when she initially released, she was pretty poopy. Now, I pulled her kind of soon after she released. I got her to 6 stars, or to 60, level 60, right? But I didn't really do anything apart from that. I didn't build her, I didn't book her, I didn't test her, I didn't do anything like that. So we're going to be doing that today. Now, I have already used her. If you watched my Gear Dungeon 1 guide or walkthrough, you'll know how incredibly crucial she was to that stage, and we'll actually be showcasing her there today, as well as doing a damage test and clan boss and all that sort of stuff. Now, she's not fully booked, but her ultimate is maxed out. That's what really matters, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at this kit. So a talent: when an enemy dies in range, summons one Dream Eater. The Dream Eater inherits 100% of the Master's attributes, so that's her, and assists the Master in attacking enemies in range. Each attack deals 40% AoE magic damage to up to 5 enemies. The Dream Eater exists for 18 seconds and explodes upon expiration, dealing 100% AoE magic damage to up to 5 enemies. Up to 5 Dream Eaters can exist simultaneously. Now, this has a cooldown of 10 seconds. When the Dream Eater explodes, so basically after the Dream Eater has done its job and it explodes, it's going to restore 3% rage for her. She has a basic attack where she's going to deal 120% AoE damage to up to 5 enemies, and you can see her basic attack range is very odd. It's very unique, right? So something like we would see on the Epic Lord, whose name I forgot. Nightmare Curse passive: the basic attack of the hero and Dream Eater have a 20% chance, which is going to book up to a 30% chance of inflicting slow, which is going to be, when booked, a 50% slow, which is insane, and it's going to last for a full 2 seconds. Now, finally, Spirit Drain passive increases her attack by 10%. When an allied summon spawns on the battlefield, so that can be hers or somebody else's, increases her attack by 1%, stacking up to 2 times. You can book this out so that in total it's going to stack up to 6 times. So she's going to get a 16% attack increase in total, which is very cool. And finally, her ultimate summons Dream Eater times 2. During the ultimate, increases Beatrix's and Dream Eater's damage by 70%, and this is where it gets crazy. Expands Dream Eater's target search range to the entire battlefield, and reduces the cooldown of talent by 5 seconds. So when an enemy dies in range, she's going to summon a Dream Eater. It has a cooldown of 10 seconds usually, but that goes down to 5 seconds. And these Dream Eaters can now prowl the entire map, ladies and gentlemen, hunting for people to kill. Let's go ahead and take a look at her awakenings. A1, each stack of Spirit Drain increases attack by 2%. Dream Eater's death can also grant 1 stack of Spirit Drain. A2 at cost -2, which is pretty nice. She has only 19 cost though, so it's not, groundbreaking. A3 increases the number of Dream Eaters summoned by the ultimate by 1, so she's going to summon 3. When the talent is triggered, there's a 25% chance to summon 2 Dream Eaters. So every 1 out of 4 times she triggers her talent where she summons somebody when they die in range, she's going to summon 2 instead of 1. A4, she has an attack plus 300. And then finally A5, when a Dream Eater dies, she restores 10% of her HP. Now, I think that the A3 and the A2 are really the most impactful, right, in terms of how you're going to use her on your account. But, she's pretty good. Now, all the awakenings are pretty good. Definitely don't really use soul stones on her or anything like that is what I'm getting at. Now, I have her in a maxed out Unfortunate Skull. Damage received increased by 10%, while AoE damage is increased by 30%. If you don't have this, run her in a Tier Twilight. If you don't have either of those, get to farming Artifact Material Raid. You're going to need them. Let's go ahead and take a look at the gear. So we have her built out as follows: 16,000, almost 17,000 attack, 425 on the speed, 112 and then 278 on the crit rate and crit damage, and then 23% on the rage regen. Nothing too crazy. I have very good gear on her, obviously, right? So most of it is pretty damn close to min-maxed, as you can see. In terms of how you want to build her, on the left-hand side, we always talk about this, but you're going to be building her in Warlord, Calamity, Whirlwind, Wicked Vengeance, any sort of a set like that, Annihilating Might. Substats, you're looking attack bonus, crit rate, crit damage, and then just some other substat that's going to benefit you. On the right-hand side, you're really looking for either Infernal Roar or Soulbound Arcana. I do think she'll be better in Soulbound Arcana, but I had an Infernal Roar set that was just kind of sitting around that I could throw on her without breaking anybody else. Ageless Wrath, Cataclysm, and yeah, those are pretty much the sets that you would want to use. You could also use her in a Morale set if you're trying to boost damage of other people on the team. In my opinion, you're looking for pretty much triple attack bonus main stats on the right-hand side. And then for substats, obviously looking crit rate, crit damage, attack speed, and then like flat attack if you're really trying to min-max your gear. So this is like the perfect piece. This is the perfect piece. This is the perfect piece. You get the idea, right? Like these pieces are really what you're looking for. These kind of quad rolls here are fantastic and the way to go. Now, let's go ahead, as always, and run her inside Nightmare 4 for a DPS check. Now, we are going to have to bring in a Lord with her, so a Cultist, somebody from the Cultist faction. So we're going to bring in, who is this, Morrigan? Yeah, I always get Morrigan and Demi confused because they're very similar looking in my opinion. I'm trying to find Demi now, but I can't even see her. Maybe I'm just crazy. There she is, right? They're very similar. So yeah, we're going to bring in those, and then we're just going to bring in our healers and rage regen as you usually see. So we're going to have like our Fair C and our Eloin in here as well to assist, but they're obviously not really going to be doing damage. They're just going to be making sure that our Beatrix is able to stay alive. So let's go ahead and get her placed. You can see this range. Again, it's very odd. The range means that she can be placed so many different ways and still do fantastic damage. Her range, we don't have Diao Chan in here for some reason. Let me go ahead and grab Diao Chan. For all my tests, I like to include Diao Chan in here, so just to get that consistent inspiration so you can kind of see what they're going to do while they're on your account. So let's go ahead and bring in Diao. Didn't realize that I didn't have her, so she is right there. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and enter. Reminds me that I do need to redo my Nightmare 4 key at some point because I had to steal gear from my Dolores, who is the hero that I originally had in here for inspo, and now it's getting like uncomfortably close to the 50,000 each time I do it. So like I say, we got to redo that at some point. Now her ultimate does come up incredibly quick, so we're going to go ahead and pop her ultimate here right away. You can see how she gets the Dream Eaters out there. She's then kind of attacking herself, as well as they're up here attacking the dragon as well in this vicinity. And then once they die, they're going to go ahead and blow up, right? So fantastic. We do have okay damage coming in. We're at 4 million damage once the ultimate ends. Obviously nothing nothing too crazy there, right? But the thing to consider as well is that she's in here as a AoE mage, right? So we're not going to see the same damage out of her that we would see from some sort of a single target mage or somebody who's really just specialized in the single target side of things. Mages in general tend not to do a ton of damage to the dragon, unfortunately. You know, but it's still a very good place to get like kind of a consistent damage check. Now, as you can see, we're coming in here with some decent damage. We don't quite take down the shield, but she also didn't have her ultimate up for like the majority of the shield, so something to consider there. And she still does decent damage, 8 million by the time the shield ends. Now, you might be looking at that and thinking, well, you know, she didn't do a ton of damage, whatever, right? You know, understandable. Let's go ahead and show you what kind of craziness she can accomplish inside some other areas of the game. So we're going to go into Gear Raid 1 first, because this is kind of like just the mage's playground, right? So we're going to bring her in instead of some of the other cultist mages we bring in. So we're going to bring her in instead of the Nora there, right? So let's go ahead and find her real quick. She is right here. Now, we do have Karosa on the team, who's going to be boosting our mage damage as well, so that's certainly going to help out the numbers a little bit. Normally, I use Ingrid to clear this stage, but we're going to use Beatrix to do it instead. So we'll wait to place her down for a second, because I want to kind of show you something else that's a little cool as well. So here's the one kind of consideration to make, though. When she is placed, she can't reach the full right-hand side, right? So that's something to consider. Ingrid obviously can blast all the way across. Your comets and everything like that can reach enemies over here, but Beatrix is not able to. So if you have enemies that are clustered up on the right-hand side of the wall, you're going to have to bring in somebody like a Valara or something like that can take them out. Obviously, we do have Power of Dominance on here as well. So that's certainly going to help a little bit. We'll go ahead and pop the ultimates there, though. Start getting the freezes in with our Boreas, and then some big damage coming in with the Beatrix as well. Now, I don't think we're going to go through and do a full playthrough of this particular stage, because I think for the most part you guys probably kind of understand how to do it. But we're going to go through here just long enough to make sure that you guys can see what kind of damage she's capable of doing. Obviously, we have Valara in here doing big numbers as well. But again, like I mentioned, you can really see the difference where we're not able to target these enemies on the right. So, you know, you do have to be considerate of where you place her, because that is a potential weakness that's inside her kit, right? So, depending on the map, you know, there's going to be some areas you can place her where she's perfectly fine. That doesn't really matter. And then as we cover later, there's actually going to be some areas where that range really suits her, and where you want to have her in a certain position because of her range, and that's specifically with the gear dungeon. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to pop Boreas here because we have the ability coming in right away that's going to start healing people. We're going to pop our Ymmerit and our Valaras. Just get some hardcore CC out there. The wall is doing perfectly fine, but Ymmerit is not. Ymmerit's getting clapped, unfortunately. We don't have another healer that we can place on that side, but it is what it is. So you can see Beatrix and Boreas are doing a pretty good job taking them out. Obviously, Valara is helping out significantly as well, but at the end of the day, you can see that they're clustering a little bit more on the right-hand side, so it's obvious that, you know, Beatrix is doing a lot of the work. So let's go ahead and just back out here. If you were trying to go through and clear this yourself, obviously, you know, you'd have to play through the rest of it, but if we take a look at the damage done, you're going to see that Beatrix is kind of on par, and A0 Beatrix is on par, sort of. It's a 30 million difference almost, with an A0 Ancient exclusive, right? Now, Valara doesn't have Diao-Chan inspiring her either, so that's going to significantly impact how much damage she's doing. So obviously Valara is a better unit, right? Let's be perfectly honest here, but, you know, Beatrix is still fantastic. Now let's go ahead and go to stage 10 of Gear Dungeon 1. Where I was showcasing these heroes before, or I was showcasing them previously, and I'll show you guys just how impactful Beatrix is. So, on the bottom lane, we're going to have Broke here, we're going to place Artemis, and then as soon as we can, we place Valara. And then what we're going to do is on the top lane as soon as we can. This is basically all we need down here, by the way. When you can, you'll just go ahead and place the Anora as well. But, you know, she's not going to be doing a ton of damage off the hop. So, boom, just like that. And again, I'm probably not going to be showing you the full run through here, just enough to really tickle our taints and show you how it's done. So, up top, we're going to wait for this AoE that comes in momentarily. As soon as the AoE pops, we're going to go ahead and place down Valkyra. Then we're going to go ahead and pop Valara, Brokir, Artemis, and the Praetus button. And there we go. Everybody's getting clapped on the bottom lane. It is what it is. Now, we're going to go ahead and place our Eluin. We're going to place our Diao. And then as soon as we can, we're going to go ahead and place Beatrix like this. Now, if you've ever tried to beat this stage, you'll know that there's some annoying little shits that come out over here and just kind of stand there. And you do need, obviously, a Valkyria to beat them. Or, alternatively, you can also just use Beatrix and you can say, hey, I'm going to summon these Dream Eaters. You guys are going to get whacked around a little bit. Screw you, right? So that is a potential option as well. Now, on the bottom, again, we're going to go ahead and pop Brokir, Valara, and then also our Anora this time. It looks like we'll get them just before they get to the portal, which is perfect, though it is pretty sketchy. And now you can see Beatrix combined with Valkyra are able to take out the top lane pretty easily, right? And that normally is a little bit tough to do if you don't have insane gear or a maxed out artifact on your Valkyra. So Beatrix can really just be there to assist, right? Which is fantastic. It makes this stage significantly easier for anybody who might be trying to clear it, especially for myself, because as I always say, this is a free-to-play account. The only thing that I bought on this account is the skin for Lust, which is kind of funny because I don't even use Lust anymore. But I love the skin, wanted to support the developers, so it is what it is. As you can see, though, Valkyra combined with Beatrix, we are absolutely clapping those guys up top, and it's not even close. And obviously, Power of Dominance is on, but look at this, right? So something else, everybody on the bottom lane is already down to like half HP, right? That's because of Beatrix and her Dream Eater. So you can see how the Dream Eater came down here, messed those guys up a bunch, and we're actually going to get clapped, I think, here by these guys, unfortunately, because we mistimed things. So yeah, there it is. But you can see how the Dream Eater came down, and it did so much damage to the guys on the bottom lane that it's going to significantly make the job easier for your bottom lane heroes as well. And she does do not insignificant damage. So 25 million damage on this particular stage. If you compare that to like our highest damaging unit, which is Valara, she's only doing 37. That's a difference of 7 million damage, which, you know, sounds like a lot. But when you consider how suboptimally she's placed, it really starts to make sense just how good of a hero she is and how, you know, kind of useful she is in certain niches that you may not be able to fill with other heroes. Like other mages can't reach that area without getting hit themselves, right? Because you have the archers that spawn and come down there and all that sort of good stuff. So unless you have like a really tanky mage that you can place there, they're just going to die. But Beatrix, with her very interesting range, she's able to do that. Obviously, when she can expand on her ultimate to be covering the entire map, she can go and damage other lanes as well, as you've seen. So all that being said, though, make sure you go ahead and let me know down below if you use Beatrix, where you use her, and how you like her, right? I'd love to hear about it. If you made it to the end, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as join the Discord. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.